All right, here's the deal. I'm gonna make a song in like an hour. And the catch is, after an hour, I'm gonna have to put it onto a Game Boy and record it from that Game Boy, okay? So I can kind of show the process. But I also wanna get it on Newgrounds and get it front page today, tonight. And if that doesn't happen, I'm gonna be pissed. Hang on. If you want to put music onto a Game Boy the same way I'm doing it, you're going to need three things. You need a DAW, you need Sappy, and you need Anvil Studio. Your DAW is going to be used to create the music, Anvil Studio is going to be used to tweak the music, and Sappy is going to be used to import the music to the ROM. If you want to learn more about the limitations of a GBA audio-wise and like a little bit on the why behind the things I'll be doing in this video, you can either check out the video right here. Otherwise, I'm putting a bunch of documentation in the description below, and you can find basically everything you need to know there. Anyways, back to the video. So first we need a melody. We need to come up with something. I think I want to put it in C minor. That's been like my vibe lately. The reason I'm writing this with just like the standard piano is because I don't even know what instruments I'm going to use yet. That's all going to be based on what I put into the Game Boy there. Everything I'm going to write is going to be just on piano here, so that it all at least sounds congruent when I pop it in on Windows, and like one drum kit, and that's it. And then we're gonna copy it. All right, there's like a main melody for us. I might even pitch it up a whole octave. So we know we can have like 6 instruments, and we're going to reserve 1 slot for the drums, maybe a hi-hat too. So we can work with 4 as musical instruments, as like melody and rhythm and all that, and we just knocked out 1. That being said, I might just go over it and harmonize the notes, make them into chords. I wish I knew how to talk music better. I remember seeing like a thing from Kenny Beats that said like, always do the drums first. The drums are what's gonna drive it. Whoa. And sometimes like, yeah, I agree with that for hip hop. Sometimes it is the drums that are like the most important. Like you wanna make a Lentra type beat. Yeah, it's all drums, it's all percussion. But I think if you're doing a soundtrack that sounds like it's for a video game, the melody is what's gonna drive it. You need to make something short and memorable, right? We might end up making a loop today. How far are we? It's been 8 minutes, and we've almost got 1 melody done. This is it with the actual harmony on the notes. All right, I'm gonna add another instrument here for just a snare drum. I used Bluebird because it was the first kit I ever tried using when I did like music for a ROM hack. I just know where the drums line up in terms of where they line up in Sappy. So like if I hit snare center or like snare rim shot, weirdly this is the loud drum in Fire Red, and this is the quiet snare drum. So we're probably gonna use the quiet snare drum, and it's not gonna sound right. But let's just add like 4th notes here. I might go like da da da. I'm just shrinking a bit. I kind of like that. Ooh. The next thing I want to do is add a timpani, which I'm just going to add in the sound for because it's always going to be a timpani when we put it in. The timpani is going to work as our bass drum because I actually like how it sounds better in on a GBA than an actual kick drum. The kick drum gets kind of washed out. Because these two are separate from each other, they never overlap, they count as one instrument. But now let's add a bass line. I'm actually going to make this... I lied when I said it was all going to be... piano stuff because I'm gonna make this a bass real quick. Ooh, hold up. Let's make a little funky effect on this. Let's do a pitch bend. We're gonna have to set this to a pitch bend of 0 just to be safe, because if you let it bend and it never bends back, you're in trouble. Yeah, that's fine. And then I want to modulate it a little bit. You got to keep it really low because the Game Boy is going to make it go crazy when it's actually in there. And so y'all know modulation is what makes it kind of get a vibrato, like, and from instead of like a ah, it's like a ah, you know, not higher, but like that. Ah. Okay, we have enough room to do 2 more like GB sounds, unless the bass itself is a GB sound. Doesn't matter. How much time do we have? It's already been 15 minutes, Duke. All right. We can add one more instrument, I think. We have 2 at the top, 1 synth, another synth for the bass, and then the drums work simultaneously. So we could either do a hi-hat or we could do another instrument. I'm thinking I'm going to use it for another instrument. All right, now it needs a second part before we can call it a loop. I want it to go A, B, A, C, and that's it. There's 2 things I know how to do in music, and that is give the beat sass and eat ass. Okay, we have like 24 minutes to come up with a final like A, B, A, C, a C part for this loop. Hopefully this switch to C major works. If it doesn't, I'm in trouble because then I'm running out of time. I don't know. What if I do this? That is the cheapest way to make chords. It's like power chords. The only other thing I want to add real quick is a crash, which means that I'm going to need to remove something. All right, we have 10 minutes to spare, and we have like a okay track. It's just a loop. It's not that good. I'm gonna mess around with the key a little bit. I'm just gonna pitch it up and down a little until I get what I like. But we're about done here. Yeah, I'm keeping it there. That sounds nice. Holy shit. I actually like that a lot. That's not bad. All right, I fuck with that. That is good. We took an hour. We made a track. It's all written in Logic. Now we have to convert it to a usable file using Anvil Studio. If you saw my last video, you understand why. But what we need to do is pick out our instruments we're going to use, make instruments swap around if we need to. If we want it to be a trumpet and then later we want it to be a piano, we have to make a little setting for that in the MIDI composer. And then we're going to export that, convert it to a .s, and put it into Sappy so we can put it into a ROM and then record it from the ROM and put it onto Newgrounds. Gonna do that now. Time to get cooking. First of all, we have 10 tracks we can use, but they're all written to channel 1. I think I have 7 in total, yeah. So we need to pick a different channel for each one. Anything that says Bluebird, which refers to our drum kit, that's the name of the drum kit we used in Logic, we need to set to number 10 because it's drums, as you can see right here. And we need it to be under acoustic grand. I don't remember why, but it has to be. I think what we want to do is use Voicegroup 48B8B8, which is the Ruby Sapphire Emerald battle theme, for those who are not aware. And we want to use any of the instruments listed here. So for example, when we said timpani earlier, we picked 48. That's because it's one number higher than the number here, but it still lines up. Don't ask me questions, it lines up. So 48 is timpani. The first thing I think I'm gonna do is set the bass to be a sawtooth. We don't need it to be as loud because the GB synths tend to be higher than everything else in the ROM. I think I'm going to set this one to, do we have
harpsichord?
Yeah, we do.
Harpsichord.
But I remember sounds kind of cool. That can be a French horn because it's kind of legato. I think I'm going to go with the strings to start, and then I might switch to a trumpet afterwards. All right, we have to factor in that this track is going to loop. We have to make sure that, you know, if this instrument ever switches at any period of time, like we switch one of the tracks up here, channel number 1 from strings to trumpet or something, it needs to switch back when the loop starts. Insert MIDI event. And we're going to do a program change, which lets us on the fly within the MIDI switch what instrument is playing. And for now, they can all just be the exact same instrument they're set to off of the bat, because it just means they're going to switch back to what they started as when the loop starts again. What if I have it switch to a trumpet right here? What the fuck? I think it plays with the melody, so let's switch it to something that will sound better. Maybe a Calliope. These are all going to sound way different than the instruments that I pick for like the one
harpsichord,
with 3 and 4 sawtooth, because they're actually just GB sounds. They're just lined up to match those instruments. Let's try a piano. Do I have a piano? All right, the last thing, I'm pretty good on how that's set up. I'm not really super worried about it. The last thing we need to do is make it loop, which is really fucking easy. Just like making markers in another music program, you can use a cue at the place where you want it to loop. So right at the end of the song right here, I can just say, all right, right bracket. And that tells Sappy, hey, go back to the left bracket when this happens. So we can go back to the very beginning and make a left bracket. Now it loops between these 2 points. That makes a horrible sound. So I'm going to export this as a MIDI format 0 file. It has to be that one. Don't ask why. I don't know why. I don't know the details. I just know how. To my mid2AGB folder, we're going to call this example. Now we have it saved. So the last thing we need to do is convert it to a .s, which I will do off camera, and then pop it into Sappy and see how it sounds. So you can see the same voice group right here under Battle 2. And if we click play, that's the Ruby and Sapphire battle theme, like we said. I'm going to also open Free Space Finder, search for like 2,000 bytes or something. Copy that, and then I'm going to assemble the song. We don't need to change the voice group because it's the right one, but we do need to change the offset because it might fuck it up and we'll never be able to hear it. So that's the offset I got from Free Space Finder. Now we pop in example. We cook it. Yes. And let's hear what it sounds like. Okay, we just need to change some things around. I'm just going to keep tweaking it off camera because it's not that good. Cook it. All right, that sounds good to me through Sappy. I'm going to edit the game real quick. All right, so this is going to be Battle 2. All right, if I walk down the stairs, it should be playing the new music. All right, I'm pretty happy with that. Not the greatest thing I've ever written, but we'll see what it does on Newgrounds. That's the challenge. We have written the song in 1 hour. We have converted it to a MIDI format 0 that has instruments properly placed for Sappy to read. We have popped it into Sappy and we have put it into Pallet Town and Fire Red. Now off camera, I'm going to record it out of Fire Red and pop it on a Newgrounds, and I will come back probably tomorrow or something and see how it did. All right, bad news, fellas. We did not hit the front page of Newgrounds. But you know, it's not about the front page. This was never about the front page. It's about the journey to the front page. We all knew that. We all knew that coming into this. It's all about the journey. And you know what else? The soundtrack to the ROM did hit the front page. So if you get the chance, stop by, check it out, subscribe, you know? I'm excited to do more content in the meantime and get back to working on the ROM as well. I'd love to do more of this. So if you want to see more Chris Piché, subscribe. Yeah, I don't know how to end this. It was kind of a fat L.